Microsoft spent $9 billion to buy Bethesda Studios. They thought that they are gonna get a legendary studio full of memories, beloved by players, with potential to rival, well, pretty much anyone, honestly, in the gaming space. And Bethesda said, Microsoft, hold my beer, because they're gonna release our third big hitter. That's right. We have Fallout and we have the other thing, Elder Scrolls. And now we're gonna release the third one. A mix of both. The both of best worlds. The word both did not fit there, but I'm not restarting the intro. You're gonna get the third big hitter. It's gonna be legendary. We're gonna call it Starfield. And you kind of know the rest. Starfield is a complete dumpster fire. There's roughly 5 people who play this game on average, and it was so bad, so underwhelming, so unliked that, well, the Xbox showcase just happened, and there was not even a peep about Starfield and its future. I think that tells you everything you kind of need to know.
What is going on with Starfield right now? This past weekend was of course the 2025 Xbox Showcase, and despite quite a bit of fan excitement, Starfield completely missed this showcase, leading to many fans wondering if the game is just outright dead now. In this video, I want to bring you up to date.
I've been saying this for a long time. Like, all of the dead things were in front of us, okay? But it's like we're in the movie where we're the boy who can see ghosts, and he says, I see dead people. And the adult is like, sure you do. And, that's pretty much it. Starfield was dead, okay? Currently, it has like a couple of thousand people playing it every day, which means nothing. It's a Bethesda game. The super fanboys are gonna defend this garbage dumpster pile until the day that they die, okay? Listen, there's literally gonna be people 30 years in the future dying off of old age or autism, and they're gonna be whispering, Starfield was actually good. Don't trust the haters. New game plus 1640 hours in. That's when the game gets really good. Trust me, bro. Yeah, they're literally gonna be saying that. Again, the Starfield cope that should be studied by scientists, honestly, I think.
On what's actually going on here, because thanks to past interviews and even some leaks, we do have a pretty good idea of what is coming next for Starfield. And I even think I know why it missed the showcase altogether. Starfield's in a really weird spot right now, and honestly, I agree with a lot of this fan frustration. Fans are correct to be annoyed over the lack of communication again. Following the release of Shattered Space in September, Starfield got one more free update in November, addressing some of those lingering issues from the expansion. But otherwise, after that November patch, the game went radio silent for months, where after mounting fan curiosity and even some frustration, Bethesda finally did reply to say, we know you're eager for an
It's mostly frustration.
update, and we truly appreciate your passion for Starfield. The team has been hard at work, and while we're not ready to share specific details just yet, we have a lot of exciting things planned for the game this year that we can't wait to talk about when the time is right. We're always listening and taking your feedback to heart. Thanks for being part of this journey with us. So yeah, definitely a nice message, but really just confirming that the game would get updates at a later point in 2025.
Okay, so first of all, Bethesda saying overtaking the feedback about Starfield the Heart is the most ironic thing ever. Because when this game came out, some of you may not know, some of you may have forgotten. So, first of all, it was a buggy mess. 2, it was boring. And people were calling it boring a lot. And people left negative comments in the Steam reviews that they did not enjoy the game. A lot of that commentary was actually not even that bad. It was legitimately people just being disappointed. You know what Bethesda did? They got their 5 interns to just reply to all the negative comments with copy-pasted answers. And those answers, well, things they replied were the most horrible shit ever. You know what they implied? I remember 2. These were the 2 main ones. The first one was, well, have you tried playing the game properly, you dumbass? Not exactly a quote, but that's pretty much what it was. The first comment that got posted on every negative response about Starfield was, well, have you tried playing it correctly? Have you tried doing exactly what we tell you to do? Have you tried this and playing it like this? Because you need to play it like this, otherwise you're a moron. That was pretty much it. It was from all the responses you could randomly get from ChatGPT. That was probably the worst one. The second worst one was, well, astronauts when they first landed on the moon, they weren't bored. They had a lot of fun. Am I am I landing on the moon, Bethesda? What? I'm not landing on the moon. I'm playing a game where there's nothing on the fucking moon, and it's boring. But the astronauts, did you think they were bored? I swear.
And about 2 months after this, an update did come out with the Starfield May patch. Sadly, if you weren't already playing, you almost certainly won't be interested in this one. It brought some really nice performance improvements for some users, including a new lower quality setting, which is really great for Steam Deck, and it even made some of the Shattered Space content finally buildable at your outpost after completing Unity. But that was really it. There of course were further creation changes and even bug fixes, but when it came to official content or updates from Bethesda in 2025 on Starfield, that's all we've gotten so far. One Twitter post in March, as well as a relatively minor update in May, although this update did include something very interesting that honestly might get some of you playing Starfield again. That being a new DLC named...
By the way, the DLC that this game has is spend $20 for literally 30 minutes of gameplay. That's what this the DLC mostly people talk about Starfield on, and it's ridiculously sad.
Named Watchtower, but this didn't come from Bethesda. We're going to talk more about this later in this video because it is freaking epic. It introduces some really cool new features into the game.
Oh yeah, this is like a unpaid, but I'm sure it's somehow illegal promotion of DLCs that are made by people and their official DLCs, and they're like DLC actual quality, which is a lie, by the way. They made the Bard College in Skyrim and other stupid crap that's actually not remotely good enough to ask money for. And well, this is that. This is that again.
And a lot of fans are praising this one right now.
No one is praising anything, and the only thing that you see about this DLC is the Roomba at the end that gets nuked with an orbital laser, and that's pretty much it. That's the story. No one talks about anything else because the story's bland, forgettable, and dumb.
Into the game, and a lot of fans are praising this one right now. And overall, I do think Bethesda's statements thus far this year do make it pretty clear that no, Starfield is not currently abandoned. Bethesda has consistently fallen short on communication around their games, and it's almost been perpetually true for Starfield. I feel like this is the third time fans were frustrated.
I mean, the worst part is not that the communication falls short, it's the fact that nothing... Like, Starfield's big updates literally have been 15 bug fixes at a time. They take 3 months to fix 15 bugs.
Frustrated and waiting months for some kind of update before Bethesda finally just releases something. So while yes, it's frustrating, I don't think their silence means it's abandoned, and instead what I think's going on is the Xbox showcase wasn't the appropriate stage to talk about what's coming next to Starfield. Do you remember back at the start of 2024 when Xbox Era reported that Starfield would be coming to PlayStation 5 and the community freaked out? A bit later,
Well, mostly it was PlayStation players saying, why would we want Starfield? You can keep it.
Xbox had a podcast about how it would actually be for other games going to PlayStation 5, but at least as of then, Starfield wasn't on the table. I'm not somebody who typically jumps on board with the whole planned or coordinated leak thing, but I think in this specific example, Xbox saw this leak go public, saw the massive amount of backlash, and simply delayed their plans a bit. Because I think, yeah, the big thing that's on the horizon is Starfield's next DLC and possibly a larger update will coincide with the PlayStation 5 release of the game. Basically,
are we gonna get new Space Dragon shouts?
Giving the game a second chance with a totally new audience on a completely new platform, and a ton of leaks that have been coming out over the past few months are even backing this up. I mean, even just coming from the top itself, earlier this year, Phil Spencer was asked about Starfield staying on Xbox for the time being, to which he just said, no games are necessarily staying on Xbox. Tom Warren of The Verge recently said that Starfield was meant to launch on PlayStation 5 with Shattered Space in September, but for some reason that plan was scrapped or changed. And it's just a super concrete leak on this. Nate the Hate, who got just about everything correct on Oblivion Remastered, has stated Starfield is coming to PlayStation 5 and intent should be announced this year. It's just a matter of when will the announcement happen. Even further saying, I would expect the gap between announcement and release to be minimal. And just as an aside, be careful where you're getting your Starfield news or info. In his predictions podcast, Nate the Hate says this.
Because, I mean, this is the Xbox showcase. This isn't the venue to announce Starfield going to PS5.
And yeah, I honestly think that's your answer more or less. Starfield was not at the Xbox showcase, but the next major update or DLC will be tied around a PlayStation 5 release, which for fairly obvious reasons, Xbox didn't want to announce at their showcase. A couple of months ago, we even saw some of these Starfield mod pages get PlayStation 5 logos, as if those mods would be available on PlayStation as well. What I imagine was going on there was some of the people in the Verified Creator program got early access to posting their mods on PlayStation 5, or at least adapting them to that platform, and we started to see some of that leak through. So I wouldn't be shocked if this is a release that's coming up soon. The fact that we saw mod pages get updated like this makes me think this could be just in the next couple of months. Nate the Hate even claimed that the gap between announcement and release would be minimal for a PlayStation 5 drop, and just yesterday, a Halo data miner found a new Halo API entry that, at least to this person, confirms a Halo game on PlayStation, and apparently it's coming soon. Maybe there's going to be a series of Xbox games coming to PlayStation announcements, and I could see Gamescom being a
Wait, that's a Fallout weapon. Oops.
series of Xbox games coming
Yep, that's a Fallout
to
mod.
PlayStation announcements, and I could see
Wow, they made even Fallout look bad in Starfield. That's impressive.
Gamescom being a perfect stage for that. Or honestly, they could just randomly announce this any week, but Gamescom really is the next major showcase. It's coming in August, and in the past, Bethesda has been there. And even when it comes to a second DLC, I do still think that is possible, and to me, it's not that crazy that we haven't heard anything yet. Shared Space dropped in September, and if this Todd Howard interview is correct,
content-wise, we're looking at kind of like what we do with Far Harbor on Fallout 4. We're like, okay, this is a scope that works for, our development in doing this kind of annual story expansion type of thing. So
Bethesda wants yearly story expansions for Starfield, at least as long
Wait. I never mentioned this, but we have seen this previously, and this is fake. This is a set. He's not actually in his office. No office is this unreasonably tidy. Like, none of this makes sense. This is like some kind of place where they're supposed to like do these Zoom call meetings or whatever. This is not his real office.
expansion type of thing. So
Bethesda wants yearly story expansions for Starfield, at least as long as the audience keeps buying them. And well, yeah, Starfield's player
Oh, I remember this one. I don't remember the weapon or whatever it was, but look,
buying them.
that is the summoning from Skyrim. Yeah. This attack is just the summoning animation of the Skyrim for Aetronox. Have fun with that.
And well, yeah, Starfield's player count on Steam hasn't been the best. The game still does seem to have a very solid Game Pass core audience, like a ton of other Xbox games. I've seen some arguments saying that
LOL, no it does not. No, it does not. Listen, Starfield when it came out was actually a super big thing. People were kind of excited. I said it's gonna be bad because, well, of everything. Dude, listen. When your gameplay release of a game trailer is 0.5 second cuts because you're afraid to show more, you know it's gonna be bad. I predicted this, by the way, as I predict pretty much everything about obviously bad games. I'm just that obvious. Starfield. Starfield had like 30 million players on its launch. I don't think they lied about that. Starfield was massive. We're talking about Diablo 4 levels of mass. And we're also sadly talking about the Diablo 4 levels of, wow, this is shit, I'm never gonna touch this garbage again type of deal. And, at least Diablo 4 kind of gets people back into the game every 3 months for, 5 minutes until people just, remember, oh, right, this game's garbage. Starfield can't even do that because they don't have seasonal content. So, yeah, The fact that this thing had legitimately 30 million players at one point, not players, not buyers, but this actually matters once in our lives, and there's nothing of it. This is a disaster. This is literally one of the biggest disasters in gaming. This is the whole of World of Warcraft's downfall in one game in a matter of months.
That more developers on Starfield, like working on a DLC, would take away developers from the Elder Scrolls 6 and slow down development on that side. But do you really think Bethesda doesn't have enough developers on the Elder Scrolls 6? Like, do you not think they could ask Xbox for that? I feel like when it comes to the Elder Scrolls 6, Bethesda could probably get just about whatever they realistically need to make that game. Over the past few years, Bethesda has been growing a ton and making...
People are scared about Elder Scrolls 6 because it's done by the same people who made Starfield. aka talentless losers, woke lunatics, and people who like the smell of their own farts.
Some more Starfield DLC will make them some more money in the interim. So I do think this all means that we probably will see another new Starfield DLC, but it's likely not coming until September or October. It's likely a very similar team to who worked on Shattered Space. And yeah, DLC...
God, by the way, I love the fact that this game is just so bad that most of the time if you have a weapons mag of like 50 bullets, you probably need 40 of those bullets to kill a basic enemy. I just love how bad it is.
And yeah, DLCs take time. They might need a full year to actually get that one out. The word Starborn was randomly trademarked by Bethesda, so many are speculating this will be the name for the new DLC. And I honestly think Bethesda has a pretty good reason to continue supporting Starfield, even if it seems like the player counts and overall interest is lower. Mainly because I think this is an exceptionally well monetized audience right now. Bethesda's releasing regular paid mods for both Starfield and Skyrim. And from the conversations I've had with creators, these are making pretty good money. Which means quite a few people are buying these and new choices are available to purchase just about every month. The big new option is of course Watchtower from Kingath Creations, which is legitimately awesome. This might be one of the best pieces of paid mod content to ever come to Starfield. It's 1,000 points, or about $10, and this does feel like a legit Starfield DLC. It'll introduce a new faction with Watchtower that does have all sorts of advanced technology at their disposal. Over time, you're going to be working with this resistance force against Watchtower. All these characters are professionally voice acted, and well, yeah, the story here is incredibly compelling and interesting.
Borg at home, eh?
This shadowy, super powerful faction that you have to deal with. To me, what really elevates...
Oh, another shadowy, super powerful faction, just like House Maroon, but more stupid.
Watchtower is just the cool fact.
Listen, okay, I can already see the problem here. If Bethesda thought that House Maroon is gonna be unique because they, just tattooed their face for literally no reason, then, these guys thought, wait, what if we just put metal on their face for no reason? Whoa! Oh, god damn it.
And interesting, this shadowy, super powerful faction that you have to deal with. To me, what really elevated Watchtower is just the cool factor. It introduces a ton of epic new features for you to try out and use. As you play this one, it'll open up the ability to, and you really need to have, fleets of spaceships now. So as you're just flying around or even docking at certain places, you'll find some of your other ships flying with you, and you can unlock more slots for this, which just becomes a blast. With Watchtower, you get into a ton of space fights, and having fleets on your side just make that aspect of the game a lot more compelling. Having 4 or 5 ships on your own side makes some of these extended space fights a lot more enjoyable and actually feel like those epic space battles like you see in movies and TV shows. And it even gets you using some of those other often over...
To be fair, this looks better, but again, at its base, it's just boring.
Look, Starfield features. I ended up buying Falkland Systems to try out some modded ships for my fleet as I kept expanding my ship options. But I also needed way more crew now, and for the first time was actively searching for new people to man my ships, which was just really enjoyable and fun. You'll also unlock sky drops through this. This is going to be a new call-in that you basically attach to one of your spaceships in your fleet, and then you can call down things like a missile strike on the ground, friendly robots...
Yeah, and it did like 5 damage.
Help you, or even automated turrets. Some of those
We saw the turret that started to just insta-died.
Watchtower enemies, you're going to use enhanced gear, or
so again, this is not good. By the way, every single channel talks about this stuff. This is just my opinion, but I think some kind of deals behind the scenes are being made here, because again, none of those almost like a real DLC is even remotely good. It's just not. It's crap. It's just bad. And everyone's just praising it like there's no tomorrow. I'm not trusting one bit of this, okay? Anyway, that was Juicehead. 10 out of 10. Bye!